What's up, everybody? I just ask you to forgive me sometimes as I do these lives. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of getting them started and trying to figure out my way. I just did a live and I just didn't feel like it was cohesive enough to really give to you because I care about you. And I want to make sure that I'm giving my absolute best to you. So today I want to talk about low self-esteem. Today I want to talk about a lack of self-confidence within you. And I understand there's a myriad of reasons. There's a myriad of reasons why. And I do think it's important to understand why they're there, but not rest on those things, because at some point you have to have the discipline of your mind where you move forward. You decide to say, yes, I recognize why it is the way it is that I am. I recognize why my low self-esteem is there, and I recognize why I'm hurting in this moment, but I have to move on in order to survive. This is what separates the animals that wither and die and the animals that thrive and live to a long old age. That at some point, even if they have a wound, they decide to move forward in nature. They decide to move ahead of it and not completely focus on why the wound is there. Look, like I said again, I think it's important to understand why, but not to stay there. What I also think is, when I was a kid growing up, I was a roly-poly little kid. I was called fat boy. I was called dumbass, and there were several other things that I was called growing up. There was a lot of other nicknames that are inappropriate to even show you by people who were close to me in my life. But also, I was not athletic. I was not popular in school. And so these things, I could sit there and focus on those and how I was mistreated as a kid. Or I can go, yeah, I recognize the fact that they are there. And I have to understand something. Even though I have felt very dejected by people in my life on and off, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the person that I am. It's a reflection on the person that they are. I also want to encourage you to understand kingship on a whole new level. You see, the fact of the matter is, in life, you may not have felt like king. You may have felt like everything's out of control right now. You may even think that the universe or the world or God himself is against you, but none of these things are true. I want to encourage you to understand that you are very much a king, and this is why. And I'm going to also tell you, once I realized this, it changed the dynamic of how I live life and how I think. Okay? Look, guys, as king, I'm going to tell you, you choose, right? If you are a king sitting on a throne, you choose what happens, when, and how. And I'm going to tell you, we very much do that in the kingdom of our own mind. That's right. You are a king. You are very much a king, whether you're a male, a female, or however you choose to label yourself. I'm going to tell you, you're a king because you choose. You choose what goes inside of your mind. You choose if constant negativity goes inside of your mind. You choose if that's what constantly comes out of your mouth. You choose because there's plenty of beautiful things in the world to feed your mind with. If you're in a state right now where you are absolutely miserable in life, I'm going to tell you it has nothing to do with the amount of sex you are having or not having. I'm going to tell you it absolutely has nothing to do with the amount of money that you're having or you don't have. I'm going to tell you it absolutely has nothing to do with the car that you drive or don't drive, or if you fly a helicopter to work, or you own a private plane, or the Malibu Barbie dream house. None of these are factors that give people true and lasting joy. But I will say this, the mastery of self in your mind is the thing that is going to drive you towards that. And understanding that you are king, you are the one that allows certain people in your life. If you have people in your life right now that are constantly negative, constantly bringing you down, constantly pushing you down the wrong path, constantly corrosive, it is up to you as king to be able to stand up and say, I am limiting the amount of contact that you have to me. I'm limiting, and I am thus saying right now, you are only going to have so much of my heart or my mind, okay? As king, you decide how people will treat you or won't treat you. You decide. Now, some people may not agree, but you also have, as king, the ability to decide not to dwell on how people treat you. Because guess what? We're in such a nerf world, and people want to use things like corrosive. People want to use things like negative. People want to use things like, bad culture. But the fact of the matter is, this world is full of that. You as king need to learn how to deal with that and understand that your self-esteem should not rise on whether or not you were the cheerleader in high school or not. It should not rise or fall on the fact that you are rich and famous or not. Your self-esteem should not be based on the way that you look. It should be upon the merit of your heart and your soul. And as king, you decide to choose what you believe about yourself and you don't. You see, you're looking at a man right now who every morning wakes up, wants to die. I hate saying that. It hurts to say that. But the fact of the matter is, my brand of autoimmune disease really messes with my head. And so I must, because my body feels horrible every single day, I must discipline myself. I must have the discipline in my mind that says, I will not accept certain thinking. As king, understanding that my kingdom is my mind, it is my heart, it is my soul. As king, it is up for me to decide that I will agree with certain things and not. And frankly, I'm not going to accept self-esteem issues in my own mind. I am not going to accept the opinions of others that just don't matter. I'm not going to accept people who are trying to take my time, take my heart, take the bandwidth of my mind, my kingdom, to spread nothing but negativity. I'm not going to deal with that anymore because I am king. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? When you're sitting there on TV and you're sitting there in your living room and you're watching television and you choose to watch that negative and corrosive thing, you're king. You have just allowed that inside of your kingdom. That time when you decide to be negative to a friend and really drag them down, you're king. You've just decided to allow that to happen. When you sit there and you watch things on your phone that you know are not feeding your mind and soul good things, you are king. You've allowed that into your kingdom. You've allowed that to happen. So if you're in a place right now where your life is constantly negative and you feel like everything is down, I don't care what the circumstances you think it is. It's not your job. It's not your lack of funds. It's the fact that you forgot that you were king. Somewhere along the lines, you forgot that you have greatness within you. Now, there's two types of kings in this world, and I want to challenge you with this. We hear in the annals of history the types of kings that were evil and hurt their people and did terrible things to other kingdoms and were just solely about them and their own ego. The fact and the matter that they were able to become king, they decided in that moment that they would serve only themselves. Or are you the type of king that in the annals of history people sang praises to and sang songs about and loves because they were very much about serving their people? And so throughout history and throughout time, they're constantly revered as a good king. I want to ask you, are you a good king or a bad king of your mind? Because are you mistreating your kingdom by filling it with constant negativity, allowing yourself to feel negative about yourself all the time, and believing lies about yourself that you should have never believed? Believing things like your self-worth is wrapped up around your looks, the amount of money that you make, or how you feel today. I'm here to tell you, you must understand kingship and you must walk tall with poise, and you must be very careful what you allow into your kingdom because it will affect your whole life and the lives of those around you. My friend, by this type of self-mastery, by grasping kingship, I'm going to tell you it has totally changed the dynamic of my life. My problems don't wrap up around anymore about what's happening in my marriage or not happening in my marriage. It's not wrapped up around how my business looks and how it doesn't look. It isn't wrapped up. My joy isn't wrapped up in those things anymore because as king, I only allow certain things in my mind. That's not, I don't mean to say that if there's an alligator chewing on my leg, I say, I'm not going to believe that. I don't choose to accept that as king of my mind. No, I deal with it because as king of self and king of my own mind, I'm going to take care of those things because it's better conducive for me. And I know that if I'm taking care of me, I know that if I'm taking care of myself, I'm also willing and able and strong enough to take care of others. I love you. I got a lot of people coming in and out of here. I hope this helps you. And I hope that this helps you not only to feel better about yourself and understand yourself, but to understand completely that you are the king of your own mind and you absolutely can build a legacy that will far surpass your legend and inspire others to do the same.
All the next day, and then I woke up at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and I was like, I'm cured.
Yeah, where am I? But I feel better.
Yeah. What do you have?